Big Time Gambling Boss from 1968 on Blu-ray from the brand new boutique label Radiance Films. Just finished watching it and watching all the special features and reading the booklet. And this is going to be my quick review on it. So I was actually really excited when when it was announced that there's going to be a new boutique label, mostly because I've been really enjoying like Arrow Video and Kino Lorber and a little bit of Criterion. So I was excited to kind of get the start on a new one. So uh, I pre-ordered this because I really wanted to check it out. Also, the movie itself sounded interesting to me, based on all the other ones that Radiance Films was putting out. And I gotta say, just first and foremost, I did an unboxing, a complete unboxing. So if you want to see everything, go look at that. But the package looks awesome. Like I love the layout, the artwork, just the style. It looks really good. So just some quick context on some other movies that came out in 1968. 2001: Space Odyssey, Bullet with Steve McQueen, Planet of the Apes, of course, Romeo and Juliet, and Green Berets with John Wayne. So that's kind of the context going on in 1968 when this thing came out. So this is right when the movie starts, and it's super grainy and scratchy and speckly, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. It's going to be like watching a dirty 35 millimeter film after it's been in the theater for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it's all scratched up and dirty. But fortunately, once it started, it looks really good. There's the Radiance Films logo. Pretty cool. So I intentionally didn't learn anything about this movie other than just kind of the broad plot and content. I didn't watch the trailer because I just really wanted to go into it fresh. And look at this shot here. So this is a Blu-ray, but look at all the detail in this guy's face. You could see the film grain throughout was actually pretty heavy, and you could see it moving the whole time. So that's a clear indicator that they didn't mess with it and try to scrub out the filmic quality of it. And then also there was a couple color variations throughout. But for the most part, I thought it looked really, really good, and I felt like I was just looking into the past watching this thing. I didn't see any film scratches in the entire thing, but there was a pretty good handful of just like dirt speckles showing up. Let's see if I can unpause it here, and if you look in the lighter part of the screen, you should probably be able to see some of them. Or maybe not. Yeah, I don't think it shows up on there anyway. They're just little specks that come and go throughout. It wasn't distracting at all. This is honestly a beautiful restoration, and it was exciting to watch this movie that I had never heard of, and I was just willing to give it a go because the new boutique label here. So the credits don't show up, or the title card doesn't show up until like almost 7 minutes into the movie. And then it has this awesome music. There's kind of this throughout the movie. The music kind of had like this drum. It was almost like a drum or like a bass guitar thing, like an echoey drum. Really liked the music. It was pretty unique. Look at this beautiful shot right after the opening credits. Look at all that color and detail and just the composition of that. That's good looking. It's the whole time I was watching this, I was just like, why is this movie a big deal? So, right, because this Radiance Films picks it up to distribute it, to make it more well known. So I was kind of trying to watch it, being like, what's the big deal about this? And that shot, not alone, let alone just for the movie, but on the Blu-ray itself, looked really good, like with the color and the detail and everything. So far so good. So this movie has a really interesting structure, in that this old Yakuza boss basically becomes terminally ill, and then people pick the successor. One guy declines, then he suggests this guy who's in jail, and then they suggest a younger guy. The guy who comes out of jail, he's not happy with the choice. The guy who was originally chosen is trying to get him to deal with it, but this guy's bullheaded pride just causes a lot of problems. But it's really interesting. In the special features, they talk about this kind of Yakuza movie. It's like a Yakuza chivalry movie because they adhere to this code and they're so strict with this code and their pride, which is admirable and honorable to an extent, but sometimes their pride that they hold on to just basically ruins their lives and everyone else's lives around them. So you're kind of just like on this. I describe other movies like this where you feel like you're just on this train going forward and it's unstoppable and the plot's just coming at you and you're just, it's like a disaster that you're waiting to just happen uh, as it just unfolds and just gets more crazy and more tense and people just make more stupid choices. You're just watching them and you're like, wow, that was an awful choice. But that's kind of what happens in this movie. So you're just watching all these Yakuza guys deal with this thing, some of them better than others. Some of them are acting quite honorably, but also still doing evil things. So it's really interesting. Okay, this is probably my favorite quote in the whole movie. Right here. It was nice that this guy at least pointed this out because like I said, there's like this honor and this chivalry and all this people, they're having their families and everything and they're just going about as if it's normal, but really, I mean, that's what they are, right? All the characters in here are thugs. And there's even a part where one of the main guys tells another guy that the thing that you can do to serve me is you can get out and you can live a straight life. And the guy basically starts crying because he's like, I only know the Yakuza life. And so it's just interesting to watch these guys acting like they're living so honorably. But it's cool to see this guy point out that he's like, no, we're not. Look at this leather bag. Look at that thing. If you know anything about my channel, you know that I like me some leather bags. Look at that thing. It's got a Gladstone opening and it's all weathered. It's a good looking one. So this action scene is really interesting. So you've got, so this guy, I'm not going to do the whole plot or spoil the whole movie here. So you got to watch this thing on your own. However, I don't know how you're going to because there's only 2,000 of these things. Only 2,000 of these things. So I don't know how you're going to watch it. So maybe I should just spoil the whole thing, but I'm not going to. Okay. So this guy's coming home, apparently. He's got his little kid on his back, and these guys are here to assassinate him. And just watch how this unfolds. It's really interesting. Guy dives at him. See, he's avoiding all their blows, and he's keeping the kid away. See that? So he's kind of dodging and blocking, but also he's keeping his back away from them. I mean, what you should do anyway when you're fighting someone, especially with a knife. But he's keeping his back away, and he kind of steps back so that the lady can grab the kid. I was just hyper focused on what was happening with that kid. Because, as a dad, you think of how can I keep my kids safe? And if this happened, what would I do? And how would I keep myself between them and danger? So that was a cool action scene, just watching how he was moving side to side as they were attacking him and keeping the kid away from them. And then eventually, like I said, backing up so the wife could grab him. Check out this guy's sleeve tattoos. Look at these things. Actually pretty beautiful. All right, this coming up here might be my absolute favorite shot in this thing. Right there. Look at that. I love that. So I just love all the trees and the different layers of shadows. And then you can see that they're at a shrine because you start to get these things going on. But I saw that and I kind of gasped. I was like, wow, that's a nice looking shot. Okay, this shot might actually be tied for my favorite right here. Yes. Oh, man. So a lot of the action scenes in this movie are that one that I showed you with the little kid on the back, with how chaotic it is. That scene is kind of sums up how all the action scenes are. They're just like wild, people running at each other with knives and swords and swinging and stumbling and falling over stuff. It's definitely not like a pretty choreographed, like beautiful fight scene looking thing. No, these are like really kind of messy fights, if that makes sense. And they were all kind of like that. All right, so overall, this movie was really good, and I could definitely see why it was in a boutique label. Just, they kind of have that feel, and there's certain things that happen in these kind of movies that add the gravitas or the artsiness. Um, there's a suicide of one of the characters, and they tell their husband, they say, "You've made me," in their suicide note, they're like, "You've made me the happiest wife ever." And it's just like face palm. It's like, then why'd you kill yourself? It's like, I know, I didn't miss that part in the movie. I know why she killed herself, but just the bullheaded like pride and honor of a lot of these people in this is just, and I know it's a societal thing, but oh my gosh, like, just to the detriment of those around them. They're like, I've got to see this through. And it's like, or you could admit you're dumb and stop it. And there were several times where certain characters were progressing and they were like, did a bad thing, and everyone's like, okay, you're in timeout. Go to timeout. And you behave. And we'll talk about this later. And they're like, no, I'm going to keep doing this thing because I have to see it through. And it's like, you're an idiot. So this movie is really good. I really enjoyed it. The restoration was beautiful. The mono audio was great. Everything was clear. I didn't really hear any hisses or popping or anything. I mean, it's not too old. It's like 1968, but it was great. I don't think it's super repeatable, though. I think it might be nice to watch it one more time, especially with my Japanese friend, and he could kind of explain some cultural things to me. But I don't see myself going out of my way to watch it over and over. It's not that kind of movie, but it was really good, and I am glad that I watched it. Now, the question, is this Radiance Films, is this the Criterion killer? So I would definitely say it's a contender. Like, no kidding. The packaging, just look at the layout on this thing. I know I already did my unboxing, but it just looks so good. And I will say, I watched everything. Well, let me say yes, this is a contender for Criterion. So no, it's not a Criterion killer. They've got miles ahead of this. But the restoration was incredible. The choice of which movie to put out was incredible. And then the special features. This one right here, this is like a basic introductory 15-minute video into Yakuza films. That one was really, really good, and I highly recommend that one. The second one was 25 minutes, and it wasn't as good. It didn't hold my attention as much. It was probably more thorough, but I just didn't care about a lot of it. And I think the other one was more succinct and just more helpful to me. And then the gallery was a bunch of black and white photos from the movie. And then the essays in the book were everything you would want to know about this movie and all the actors in it. So absolutely great set, absolute contender for Criterion. I'm really interested to see what Radiance Films does in the future. I'd love to review more of their movies. But I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to read about each one to see if it's a kind of movie I'd want to watch. And this was, when I read about it, the kind of movie I want to watch. But a few of the other ones that came out at first, I was like, so we'll see. But yeah, I liked it. And not a Criterion killer, but a Criterion contender. So anyway, let me know what you think. Are you going to watch this kind of stuff? Do you want to support Radiance Films? And do you like Yakuza movies? What do you think of the bullheaded pride? But mostly, thank you for watching. Your continued watching and support and friendly comments are very encouraging for me to keep doing this. Also, there's a super thanks button, apparently. It's below the video. It looks like a little heart with money in it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can. No pressure. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think. Okay, bye.